What's going on, BenchWarmers? Welcome back to another game week action. Also, it's gonna be a little bit different for you guys today. We're gonna also mix in all the fantasy action that's happening, of course, because we have some kickoffs happening on Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken on that. So as soon as we're done with the our regular coverage of the game that just happened, Diego's gonna jump right into the fantasy. That way, you guys can get all your tips and tools that you need for this coming up fantasy week. I do want to say right off the bat, Nico, you screwed me over with a Callum Wilson shout because he got me nothing. So never listen to your advice ever again. But without further ado, I am one of your hosts. I am Erik, the instigator. Alongside me, I have Marco, the interrupter, Cruz, Diego, the statro Orozco, and Nico. I'm gonna call you the hustler, baby. You just hustle
Why?
with Callum Wilson, man.
Yeah,
Dang.
that's true, bro. That's true. That's true. He
hustled.
hustled. He hustled some foot coins this week too. He hustled some foot coins.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Nico out here.
100K Richard boys.
Nico the con. Nico the hustler, or Nico the con man. No, I'm not calling him the con man.
It's not a con job just yet, but he is hustling. He is hustling.
Yeah, he's getting there. He's getting there. So before we get into all the action today, we want to remind you guys where to follow us, where to give us a like, comment, how to share with your friends. Again, we really appreciate all the support. We wouldn't be doing this without you. And if you want to hear your voice, please come on here. Marco, where can they follow us? Where can they give us a like? And where can they give us any ideas for future content?
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter by searching at BenchWarmers FC1.
Oh, good save, good catch. Diego, where can they watch us? Where can they catch?
They can watch
Damn,
us.
you really
As
want me
per
to fuck
usual,
up, don't you?
they can catch all of our video content by searching our YouTube channel, BenchWarmers FC TV.
And Nico, you just asked a question, man. I'm gonna give you this on a silver plate. What's our email address?
They can email us at benchwarmersfc.com.
Awesome. Did we get everything there? You did it, right?
Yep.
All in one shot. You know what
Yes,
it is? Les Smug isn't here to kind of throw a wrench into the whole kickoff thing. So
Yeah, he's not being in prison. He's not being in prison today. So.
Yeah.
So before we get into the main talking points of today, some games that did happen prior to, I guess, the Manchester Derby, which we are going to talk about, which is Leeds losing to West Ham, 2-1. West Ham leaving it late until the 80th minute where Ogbonna got the winning goal. Wolves then followed. That was on Friday. On Saturday, we had Wolves and Aston Villa. Wolves losing to Aston Villa. That one, I think, may have gotten a lot of people by surprise. There was multiple red cards in there. Did anybody catch the game?
Nope.
Yeah, man. It was. I saw it. It was wild. It was wild to see Wolves kind of. They've been floundering a little bit after losing Jimenez. Their attack hasn't been looking very threatening, but that's just a very general thing to see. The game itself, it got a bit heated. It did get a little bit, I guess, I don't know. There was the challenge was there definitely, but Aston Villa, they persevered and they got the win.
A total of 11 cards from what I'm counting here, and that's including double yellows and leading to reds. 2 reds, one for Joao Moutinho, the other one for Douglas Luiz on Aston Villa side. But yeah, Aston Villa walking away with the win. They're looking pretty solid this year, man. Again, those results that they had earlier on in the season against Liverpool, against Arsenal, it's just not a one-off. This is a team that we should all definitely be keeping an eye on. Next one we have here is Newcastle United versus West Brom, where Newcastle won. This is where Nico wanted to con the hell out of me and advised me to pick up Callum Wilson because he did absolutely dog shit for me. So.
Scored a hat trick, bro. I don't know what game you're watching, man. Scored a hat trick. 3 bonus points. I'm living life over here, man. With Callum Wilson all day, baby. Woo!
Okay, Nico. Well, I hope that comes back to bite you in the ass, bro. I can't wait to bite you in the ass, but whatever. I'm gonna wait till Diego gives me his tips for this game week to see what changes I make. Now, this is where we wanted to get to the exciting game between the two Manchester clubs, Manchester United, Manchester City, turned out to be a snooze fest. I mean, you could look at it as a good thing for United or as a bad thing for City or vice versa. Diego, how did you take this result?
I've been looking at it in several ways. I usually like to see the positives from it. I know a lot of people are like, well, they're professionals. They're supposed to be putting on a show, whatever. There was like some analysis from Simon Jordan on TalkSport that I heard also. He's berating both teams for not entertaining, I guess. But for a United team, I'll take a positive for looking solid defensively at least. And they looked in control. I think that's the biggest thing because for a team that hasn't been in control for the majority of the season, and the comebacks that they've had to put on are a very clear indicator of that. For them not to have fallen behind and still look like they could have taken the win. There was that McTominay chance that went begging for the tap in. I'll take a positive from that. And honestly, the other thing that I've been saying, and I'm comfortable with it, it really looked like Pep set up his team to not take his fourth L against a PE teacher, because he knows that he's lost those 3 matches. Granted, one of them was in the cup competition, which led to them getting knocked out anyway, United. But he has lost them 3 times, and for Guardiola to lose a 4th time to a newly appointed manager, it just doesn't look good. So I will say, at least for me, I don't know about you guys, but at least for me, City looked a lot more defensively minded to not attack. Did they do this only for this game? I can't say so for sure, because like we've said in previous episodes and we watched them do it, they haven't been scoring much. So I think both of those things combined, it just led to a 0-0 derby, which wasn't the greatest. But again, 1 point for each team. They just keep moving forward, I think.
And yet, to your point, possession-wise, City were only slightly above you guys. It was a very close game. You guys had more shots overall, more shots on goal, on target. I'm sorry, top for shots on target. So this did look like, a stalemate, which is a good thing, I guess you could say, especially for a team like, you were saying, who's inconsistent. And well, we'll get to inconsistencies a little bit later, but overall decent result. Nico, as a rival of United, are you seeing the resurgence, the revival of the beast within in United, or are you still, you're not worried about them at all?
He's smiling
I
already.
mean, no. To be honest, like they at times this season they have like kicked up, but then at times this season they haven't kicked up. So like, I don't know. It's just like they're just like half. Like if they beat Leipzig 5-0, and then what was an embarrassing loss? 6-1 Tottenham, like 7-2 Liverpool. So I mean, there you go.
Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. I mean, this season has been kind of crazy, man. And I don't even want to talk about the Arsenal game when we get there, but that just kind of sums up 2020 for me right now as a whole. Just a shit show. But yeah, man, that's a derby for you guys. Man City are behind United by 1 point. I think it's 8th and 9th place, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Yep, United are in 8th with 20 points, and City are in 9th with 19 points. And let's look at the whole table as a whole just to kind of see how far behind they are everybody else, because although
they're 5 points off the top. I know the leaders had 25 points.
Yeah, so Southampton within 4th is at 20. That's crazy. Southampton in 4th. We'll talk about that a bit. 23 points, and then so you guys only one game. You guys have a game in hand, and you're 1 game behind top 4. So
yeah, both teams. Yep.
United are in a very, very, very good position. We'll see if they keep that going. For us, other fans, I hope not, but we'll see. The next game we have here is Everton versus Chelsea. This one, I mean,
was surprising.
It was surprising to the fact that Chelsea didn't really have much going. Everton.
Call me Josue on this game. Didn't watch it. Because I didn't watch it. No.
Did you catch the highlights or no?
Nope. I caught the last 10 minutes of the game actually, so I mean, I guess that counts.
Yeah, that's true. Everton walk away with the win. I believe it was Sigurdsson who got the penalty, right? And yeah, around the 22nd minute. I'm not sure who was the one that drew the penalty.
I think it was Calvert-Lewin who drew it, and then Sigurdsson was the one that took it.
Okay, so I mean, does that get fantasy points, Diego, if you draw the penalty?
Yeah. You get an assist.
Yeah.
You get the assist. You get 3 points. Marco, you look like you have some pretty strong opinions about this game.
I mean, not really. The only thing that's not surprising is that it's to expect is Chelsea was eventually going to lose one. They were looking so well that something had to come across that they were going to have one bad game, and it was against Everton. I mean, was it a great game? Not really. But they came out to play. They got a penalty, and that's as far as it went. The game was, I don't want to call it boring. It wasn't a Man City, Man United, but still, there wasn't much to show for it.
Did you guys see that stat of Chelsea? They haven't won against the top 10 team this season.
I don't care about those stats anymore, Nico. Who are you talking to, Nico? Come on. Yeah, ask somebody else that question. Don't ask us that
I'm
question.
talking to the black wall that's in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, he's letting our listeners know, and he's waiting for the imagined response in return. But to his credit, Nico did tell me, and I was being a neciote about it. He was telling me about Chelsea not performing when it comes to facing Everton, and lo and behold, they take the L. Calvert-Lewin returns. It was a little bit annoying to see Nico be proven right. So
No Hamas in the lineup at all. Looks like he's either hurt or
he's hurt.
something. So there's that the consistency on his part is hard to.
Marco wants to smile so bad, bro.
Oh
He
hell
wants
yeah,
to
he
smile
does.
so bad.
Marco is loving every second of it.
No, not at all.
We'll give it a
I'm gonna
second.
be
for it to bubble up.
my humble self. Don't worry about it.
Humble Marcudius. I like it.
All right, 2020 man, full of surprises. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
At the end of it, but I mean, some kind of surprise. A good one had to come along.
So Everton walk away with the win against Chelsea. Chelsea, I think they have some pretty decent matchups coming up, if I'm not mistaken. Are you guys aware of that by any chance?
Yes, their next few matches are Wolves, West Ham, Arsenal, Villa.
Yeah.
On paper, it looks like they could probably get 3 wins out of those next 4.
Yeah.
And it would definitely be, like Marco said, it's a bit of an obstacle, like a road bump, I guess. They had to take a loss at some point. It seems like most teams have been having like that up and down roller coaster effect, I guess. So I think those are, at least the Wolves, West Ham right afterwards, they're perfect opportunities for Chelsea to put 3 points on the board back to back against those teams.
But yeah, I mean, just to follow off of those games, Wolves, West Ham, they're not easy games to begin with. But yeah, you're right. They should be able to pull the win out. But they have Arsenal, which, I mean, probably another easy win. Aston Villa, Man City, and then Leicester. So they have a
They need
really
to,
big
yeah.
schedule up ahead of them. So they have to make sure they walk away with points. If not, they're going to let teams like Burnley catch up to them. So the next team we have here, which I do want to just talk about this slightly because they are a top 4 team. They're catching everybody off guard right now. It's Southampton. Southampton winning 3-0. Armstrong, Chris Adams, and Nathan Redmond with the goals to lead them to the 3 points. But Diego, do you have any background on this coach for Southampton?
For Hasenhuttl, I mean, the only thing that I can say, and what a lot of people are saying about Hasenhuttl, is that they're using him as the prime example for keeping patient with your manager. A lot of people were bringing up the stat that at this point last season, Southampton were within the bottom 3. And I think it was soon afterwards, if I'm not mistaken, sometime in January, when they had that 9-0 loss to Leicester in the rain. And we saw it, just to bringing up some world football, we saw the Lucien Favre get sacked by Dortmund after a 5-1 loss. And
Jesse Marsh?
It's a big shout for Jesse Marsh. And before getting into that, I think a lot of people were saying like, oh, it shows ambition of a big club to sack your manager after a loss like that. To go back to the original point, a lot of people are pointing out Hasenhuttl for being the opposite. It shows ambition in that regard as well, to say we're going to trust our manager. We believe in whatever system he wants to implement. And look, to show for all of that patience and at least for that confidence, they're now within the top 4 of the Premier League. And not just in the beginning when you've played 1 or 2 matches. They're in the top 4 in December, which is something worth recognizing for a club like Southampton, without meaning any disrespect, of course.
No, 100%, man. And like you said, that accomplishment from where they were last year to where they are now, it's immense. And hopefully, that's an example that other clubs have to follow. We'll see, managers nowadays with social media have like a lifespan of a month if they have a bad run. So it's crazy. It's crazy how social media and the fans themselves kind of determine the outcome of a coach. But Southampton stuck with them. Now they're in 4th place. 3-0 to Sheffield United, which I did want to say Chris Wilder, I think is going to be the first one sacked. We all were saying Scott Parker. Some are saying Ollie. Some are saying Arteta. Some are saying Lampard. Chris Wilder, man, he's done. Not a single win.
It could be. It could be. They're very close. We talked about it in the previous episode about the points, the unwanted points record for the least amount accrued over a total season. Derby County ended up with 11 points in that season in 2007, 2008, which is very, very famous among Premier League faithful, at least. And, one thing I will say, just to avoid it, I can see Sheffield sticking with Wilder, even if they go down, simply because with a lot of clubs not buying players, you got to think about wages and picking up a new manager. That's another expense that the club has to take into account. Yeah. So it's not that I'm saying that it's impossible. I'm saying that there's a possibility for the opposite to happen, and for Sheffield just to bite the bullet and ride it out with Chris Wilder, even if they do go into relegation, and they'll trust in him to bring them back up, I guess. I think it's kind of sad, though, especially considering it, since we're combining the conversations here from a fantasy standpoint, how many players from Sheffield were doing so well last season. Lundstrom, Egan, we were shuffling defenders back and forth. Henderson on his loan spell, like it kind of sucks to see them like kind of languishing, I guess. But like you said, Chris Wilder, I wouldn't put it past him for being the first sack of the season.
Yeah. But off of what you're saying with the points and how combining for points for at least on the Sheffield side has been pretty shitty this season. For Spurs, if you have any Spurs players, you are racking up points because his next game 1-1 against Crystal Palace, Heung-min Son and Harry Kane once again combined for another goal. Harry Kane scoring outside the 18, beautiful swerve shot. No way. I'm sorry, Gaita.
Una gaitita, bro.
Yeah, yo, there was no way he was saving that goal, but that free kick that he saves.
Yeah,
his facial reaction
off the post as well.
Yeah. Dude, phenomenal performance from Crystal Palace. They were able to hold Spurs to the 1-1 draw. Dele Alli came on, made an appearance, which is
not surprising.
Yeah. I thought he was done. I thought he was out of the squad, but we'll see if he gets a second shot at a second knife at Spurs over here. But how do you guys feel about this run that Spurs is on? Was this a little bump in the road, or are we gonna start to see them Spurs it up again? Hopefully.
Didn't Nick have something to say about this game last week?
I'm Homer Simpson right now into the bush. Yeah, I was so confident that Son and Kane were not going to do anything. I was so confident, but I mean, they still drew, so they really didn't do much. So
you're half right.
Yeah.
They were able to walk away with the point. What's up, Marco?
I mean, overall, that just shows that Crystal Palace can be a threat to anybody.
They always have those games, though. With Zaha, when he wants to turn it on, he turns it on. When he doesn't, he doesn't. It's just, I don't know what it is with teams like that, like Crystal Palace, and others that when they want to just like kind of they get shit going, they'll get it going.
West Ham,
another one. Yeah, it just they have the talent there, they have the skill there, but
that Eze dude, easy dude, that guy is filthy.
Yeah. Oh, Eze, yeah, easy.
Eze, he's nice.
He's good. Bro.
Eze's nice. I do want to bring up a separate point. And it counts also for Southampton. Unfortunately, we saw as of today that London clubs are no longer going to be allowed to have fans in because they're moved to tier 3. But I am going to say, venture out a little bit here. The fans, if you saw those games for Crystal Palace and for Southampton, more Palace, the fans, even though it was 2,000, they definitely injected energy into that Palace team. I really feel like if those fans were not there, I don't think Crystal Palace would have pushed themselves to get that equalizer. I really don't, because it's one thing to have, a couple thousand fans in there that are, mixed or whatever. 2,000 home fans that are laughing and, whistling and clapping up whenever the other team makes a mistake. Like, honestly, yes, they're professionals, but I would think that's got to get into their heads at some point. So, and quite conversely, for the home team, that has to inject them with some sort of, that extra boost, whether it be energy to push a little bit more, to be a bit more creative, to take another risk, whatever it may be. Like the goal that they scored at Crystal Palace, I will put that just on them pushing themselves because the crowd was behind them, because they bundled that in. It literally, like, they shoved the ball into the goal no matter what. So I think those home fans. I believe there's only 4 or 5 clubs left, Liverpool included, that still have fans. I guess available to watch their games. I think it'll be worth watching those teams to see how they do and if they improve with having the home fans present.
Well, I'm gonna play some Mythbusters for you and prove to you how home fans don't make it better. But we'll get to that a little bit later. The next game we have here, which is a game that the fans did make it better, was Fulham versus Liverpool. 1-1 result. Nico, I hate you and your team so much.
Why?
I picked up Salah, captained him. He played most of the game, by the way, and he scored a penalty. Which
You know why he scored a pen though? You know why? Because
Why is that?
Diego did a little cheeky reverse psychology.
Yeah,
he
bro.
texted me. He was like, Salah is a ghost right now, and Salah scores the pen. I'm like, there you go.
I called him Fraud Hamid Salah, bro.
See, you can't comment on the games, bro, until they're end because
I
one
had
word,
to.
and it just flips, bro.
Bro, I was on my knees for a Salah return. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do reverse psychology right now. I'm gonna call him a fraud.
So you wanted it.
I needed the points. I don't care. I needed the points.
I feel him on that.
I mean, I don't mind it. I had him a
I
captain
feel-
too. So.
Yeah, I had a slightly above average week, but yes, allow with the penalty. I think the big shot for this game was the Liverpool moment again, where Fabinho tackled. I'm not sure who it was exactly. I forget who it was. But Nico, I want to get your first reaction. Penalty, no penalty.
I said this on Xbox chat yesterday. I don't think it was a pen just because they had to replay a lot of times, like 50 times. So if they have to replay it a lot of times, yeah, no, it's not clear and obvious for me.
Marco and
Look,
Diego strongly disagree.
I'm sorry, but Merry fucking Christmas to Liverpool, man. What a fucking gift. As the Spanish saying says, no hay peor ciego que el que no quiere ver. There is no worse blind than the one that does not want to see. The ref had the chance to correct his error. He did not take it. He saw it. He said, it's not a penalty.
Maybe it's not an error.
It was because we all saw it.
But he is a professional referee. I know we bash referees a lot, but he makes like 100, 200,000 a year for a professional referee in the English Premier League.
We have a professional
referee
in this call right now.
Because he saw with his own eyes.
Professional 6-year-old recreational league.
Still professional.
Yo, Nico's calling out right now. He said, "Show him your ref license, bro. Where's that class B, bro?"
Yeah,
there you go.
Come on, baby.
Get Martin Atkinson out of there. So I mean,
yeah, man. I've been seeing a lot of things on Instagram, on Twitter, saying that this was a penalty, both-face penalty. By the looks of it, honestly, from what I saw, the angles that I saw, it looked like the only way to get to that ball was getting through the player's foot, which is, I think, what happened. But Liverpool got away with it. They did get a penalty in their favor. I forget how it was. It was
for the handball.
Oh yes, when he made
on the free kick. The handball and the free kick.
That was harsh. Man.
I mean, it's harsh, but I understood it because even the commentator said it himself in a very, I think, the best way. He's like, if you're gonna be in the wall and you know there's cameras on you, don't turn around, just jump straight up. Like, you get no benefit from adding spin to your jump. Like, that's not going to protect the wall anymore.
He made himself bigger by putting his arms up.
Correct, right. He twisted and once his arm left his side, he was done.
You guys remember that Kimpembe?
Yeah,
pen against Man United one?
Yeah.
A couple years. It was like that, except it wasn't. He wasn't in the wall. Kind of just turned around.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's just, dude. As soon as the slow mo came on, I was like, yeah, they're gonna call that. It sucks for Fulham, but they're gonna call it.
And the ref, he wasted no time. He saw it right there, called the whistle. So I'm fair play to him. It is what it is. But with that result, that could have been Liverpool's way to get back into first place. Start, making that gap bigger and bigger between Liverpool and Spurs. Nico, how did you feel this result went? And I also wanted to ask you, what was your reaction to Klopp's rager on the sideline?
I'll answer your first question about the performance. Well, the first half was abysmal. It was like, I mean, we all saw it. Klopp is like, Mo, come on, wake up, Mo. So yeah, I mean, he was totally right. Everyone was like terrible. So I mean, I guess halftime, Klopp went into that dressing room, said some things nice. You know what I mean? And then I mean, the second half they played much better. I do want to give Some props to Curtis Jones. Even when like the team is performing, they're all like 30-year-olds, 29-year-olds. They've won all the trophies. A 19-year-old was able to grab this like the scruff of the game and just like he almost scored at the end when like at 83rd minute where he just like took everyone on. So I just want to give
Half the
some
field.
props to him. Yeah, he's like the one thing about him is like he's smooth. I don't know, he's just like smooth on the ball. But I mean, yeah, no, yeah, first half it was bad. It was really bad.
You guys stepped it up, and the Klopp got you guys out of that rut, which is what he's there for, right? So he got you guys a draw. And again, that leaves Liverpool and Spurs tied for points. The only thing separating you guys is the goal differential. So we'll see how that continues to progress. The next game, which is where I'm going to play Mythbusters and prove Diego's analogy of fans being in the stands completely wrong, is Arsenal at home to Burnley. Yes, I am starting. There you go. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Marco. Perfect timing. Awesome. I love it. Marco is literally impersonating the fan at the Emirates who had his face mask over his eyes because he was disgusted from what he was seeing on the pitch. As myself, as Marco was, this was a rough game to watch. Marco, bro, we were at Derby Road watching this game, and I genuinely thought, I was like, okay, you know what? Liverpool drew today. United and City drew today. Spurs drew today. Chelsea lost. This is our chance. Aubameyang hasn't scored. He's gonna score a goal. He did, by the way. We'll get into that. I'm like, this is our chance. Like, we can finally start closing the gap. But then,
you know why Arsenal lost?
Why is that?
You know why? Because Derby Road is a bad place. It is a very, very bad luck place. Every time Eddie and Edgar went there to watch Liverpool play, they lose. I think it was it Watford they went there? Lost. Liverpool, Barcelona at the new camp? Lost. It's a bad, I'm telling you, man, for your team, it's a bad place to watch. But a great place to drink and eat food.
Grab a drink and eat some food. Yeah, Derby Road, if you're
listening and watch the game. And watch the game.
Love you guys.
Yes.
But when Arsenal play, we may not go there anymore. At least some of us may not go there anymore. But just to kind of dive into this game a bit, I still have no answer. I thought we were gonna, we started off strong. We had the opportunities, and then Xhaka turned back into Xhaka again. I don't know what it is, man. These players are just losing it mentally. Like Xhaka was doing so well under Arteta for such a long time. You guys all saw he was like such a focal point for the team. And for him to lose his mind for that moment and get the red card, which in my opinion was completely deserved. We should have honestly had 9 players as opposed to the 10 players because El Nani was caught in another situation that wasn't called back. But all in all, I know the question that comes to everybody's mind, or the first thing that comes to everybody's mind is Arteta out. I'm still not Arteta out. I don't think it's the coach. I think it's 100% the players. Aubameyang seems to score goals on the wrong side of the pitch. He finally gets the goal, but he gets on the wrong side. And when he has the opportunities on the other end, he doesn't put them away. Same thing for Lacazette. He had a clear opportunity, didn't put it away. You can't blame Arteta for the goal that they miss. He's given them the opportunity. He's given them the tools. He's given them the formations, the tactics that you have to implement in game to bring something, but they're just not doing it. And Bellerin, who had a great start to the season, shit show. Xhaka, shit show. God, who fucking Lacazette, Aubameyang. You have to be real with them. Shit shows. Willian, these players who we were so, I don't know how to put it, but like excited to have that they're doing good. They were starting on the right foot, have just gone a downward spiral, and I have no idea what it is. But I'm hoping Arsenal pull a Southampton and stick with Arteta, give them this transfer window, get past the pandemic, in a hopefully regular, I guess, atmosphere in the footballing world. But yeah, alarm bells are ringing. We're not in relegation, in my opinion. We're not in a relegation battle. That to me is a little far fetched, but there's a lot of work to be done. Marco, you were there with me at the game. What were your thoughts?
I mean, it's frustrating just in general. I mean, the guy that was there didn't make it easier. Just we had one Chelsea fan that was just shitting on us, and all we did was take it because there's nothing else we can do.
The whole time.
Wait, what was he saying?
Arsenal suck. Only good for the FA
Oh.
Cup and Europa. Arsenal suck. I'm
bro.
like,
Consistently,
shut
bro.
the
Like I've
fuck
never seen you
up,
before. Why are you shitting
bro.
on us? Like
Like,
literally, I
dude,
have no idea who you are. You
It's
never
like-
introduced yourself. I don't know what your name is, but here you are shitting on us consistently.
it's like he wanted us to like get angry with him. Like that. It felt like at a point where he just like
Bro,
wanted
but
us to get upset with him.
It's at.
I'm like,
but we
you're
were at
right
that
though.
point-
I don't know what you're trying to say.
That's
You're
the
right.
problem. That's the problem. It's like we're at that point that we're like, yeah, you're right. It's like we're not gonna fight with you. What we're gonna do is we're gonna say that you're right and actually give you other bullet points to keep on shitting on us because we're that bad. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say Arteta out because he's not. I still think that he's bringing to the table something. He's allowed us, and you can see it because it's not like we're not playing. We're sometimes
like
even dominating the game. It's just that they can't score. But that's not on Arteta. That's on the players that they can't make it to that point. They can't. They're not focused enough. I don't know if they don't want it enough. I don't know if what's going on within their own heads that won't allow them to put the ball in the net. It kind of reminds me of like when we are playing pro clubs that we have 90% of the possession but can't score one fucking goal. That's literally it. Arteta gave him the tools. He's taught him what he needs to do, but he can't come in and score the goals for them too. Like that's on them.
Sure.
So I mean, what he has to do is, and what I'm hoping is that we just have to get rid of the dead weight.
And that's what this transfer window is all going to be about: is getting rid of the dead weight, bringing in the good play, bringing in some quality players who want to play, who want to change the team around. But yeah, that's it right there, Marco. Getting rid of the dead weight, getting rid of the journeymen that are just there just to play.
Get that paycheck.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, they get the fuck out of there. And I don't think it's Arteta. I refuse to refuse.
I mean, if you want to criticize him, okay, criticize the fact that he so consistently uses Bellerin and Xhaka on the lineup. Like those, I can see we can criticize him if we want. I'm not gonna go and play the game of he should be kicked out. I don't think there's time for that. I just don't see it. I think he's good. I just don't think that he has a team that wants it enough to continue fighting. So what I want to see in the next coming weeks is don't use Bellerin anymore. Use Drake or use Niles. Stop using Xhaka completely. You can't play for the next 3 games, but regardless, stop using them completely. Use
Yeah,
A blessing.
use other.
We got Pepe back.
We have Pepe back. We'll stop
Bellerin
using
card.
Williams. So I mean, there's plenty of players. Leave Lacazette on the bench for a little bit. Allow Aubameyang when the Europa League comes back. To go in and score some goals there, man. Even though I'm sorry to say, smaller teams.
Well, we got
apart,
Benfica next, which isn't a small team,
Yeah,
to be
that's
honest.
right. Still, I mean, give them something at least. Bring back the FA Cup and let's play against the third league team, whatever. What is the FA Cup? The Carabao? Are they even playing that anymore? So I mean, that's what I would. That's all I have to say.
Man. I don't know, Diego, Nico, you got any questions or you got any concerns that you want to bring up about this game?
I mean, about this game, like we all saw it in the second half. Arsenal had like 5 shots back to back. This first 10 minutes of the second half, right before Xhaka got the red card. So Arteta was like, putting into these players. Like he knows. How do I say this? Like he knows his right path. Like he knows his philosophy on what he wants these players to do week in and week out. But you just say he doesn't have the players. Like I'm gonna go Bellerin, not good enough. Holding, Xhaka. Maybe you can make a case for Lacazette. I mean, those players is just like you can't do nothing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like, yeah, like old dog can't learn new tricks, and they're not learning new tricks. But it's rough. It's a rough time to be an Arsenal fan. But as I said in the last episode, and I'll say it again, we have to get through these rough waters with these infested sharks and just trying to drag us down with them. Just keep our heads above water, and hopefully these next couple games we pick it up again. I keep saying I'm waiting for that bounce back, but that bounce back is just getting further and further and further away. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Arsenal lose at home. That's 4 losses at home. Worst start in Premier League history for Arsenal. And unfortunately, it's under the Arteta reign, so it's not looking good for him either. But like as Diego said, look at the Southampton analogy. What's his name again? Huddersfield.
Oh, Hasenhuddle.
Yeah. Look at that as an example. Hopefully, I said Huddersfield. Hopefully that leads, into greener pastures for Arteta and Arsenal. But the next game we have here is Leicester City versus Brighton, where Leicester walk away with the 3 points and 3 goals, as Madison had a brace, Barty had a goal as well. But Madison's, I think it was a second goal, which was the banger of the weekend, in my opinion. Beautiful left, I think it was a left-footed shot, top far left corner as well. Another day at the office for Leicester. They got the 3 points, and now that would leave the table at, let's look at this as follows. Spurs and Liverpool, first and second. Spurs in first and Liverpool in second. Leicester in third with 24 points, 1 point behind Spurs and Liverpool. And in fourth, we have Southampton with 23 points. And then Chelsea, West Ham, Everton, United City, Aston Villa, and then Arsenal all the way down in 15th place. With that being said, that wraps up the Premier League action. Now, if you guys are ready for it, let's get into this fantasy action coming up this week.
Yeah, let's do it. There's actually some price changes that are going to happen during the time of recording. So just to let you guys know, since we are talking about it, the reminder is, in most cases, at around 8:30 Eastern is the price changes. So we're looking at some projected price rises for players like De Bruyne, Madison, Bamford, Fernandes, and Konsa from Aston Villa. There's a few other names on here too. I hope you guys remember when I was going on a little rant about Cavani rising after that game. He's dropping again, which rightly so. I was like, that's such a knee-jerk decision, but I'm not going to go into the players that are going to drop. This weekend was a little bit of a rough one for some teams. The average was a pretty low 51 points. I believe after the first 2 days, the average score was like 22 or something like that. The majority of points came in afterwards. So just to go around the rest of you guys, how'd you guys do?
I actually did a slightly above average. I had 60 points. My dumbass dropped Calvert-Lewin for Nico's great advice of picking him Callum Wilson. So I've been mean in the ass.
Marco, what'd you hit this weekend?
I actually had a really good week.
Yes,
for once
Marco
in my
killed
life,
it, dude.
I walked away with 86 points.
Marco with a massive 86 pointer. We'll get to that though. As far as the Gap versus Marco sub drama, Nico, what'd you hit this weekend?
I had another below average week. Ended up with 41 points, so not good enough again.
So I will say some of the best performers for the weekend. Emi Martinez showing his faithful with a 11 pointer, which was massive. That definitely helped me out. I was very much lamenting taking out McCarthy because he was doing pretty good, and Martinez came back and he showed that he could still get those. Literally, it's the saves that got him the extra points of the bonus. James Justin with 11 points, Vardy with 13 points. We saw some of the big hitters like Fernandes and De Bruyne blanking. Son, even though he got an assist, 5-pointer, always better than just 2. So that was decent. Kane getting his 9-pointer, I believe, for that goal that he scored. Salah walking away with 8 points, that goal. And a bonus point that a lot of people in the fantasy realm, the fantasy world, were kind of surprised for him to hit. And looking at the BenchWarmers Fantasy League, just changing it up this week, since we are combining the episodes, I'm going to go in a different order with how we usually present the information. There will be no BenchWarmers Club for this one. The bench will be updated after the game week, which is starting tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So you'll see on the following week on the episode, I'll give you the updated counts for who's in our BenchWarmers Club. But going over our BenchWarmers FC Fantasy League, first place in Kepa We Trust, still maintaining his lead, 67 points with a total of 800. The first one to hit 800. Second place, we have a new team, You Don't Matter. Safia is in second place with a 74-pointer. Third place, he fell, Liverpool with 63 points. El Nino, Anvo, and Andreas making up 4th, 5th, and 6th. I sit in 7th. Nico dropping down to 10th with Erik leapfrogging him into 9th for the top 10. I know that's a good sign for Erik to be smiling on that green arrow. Josue with his team, Sonaldo 7 in 11th place. We do see in Bruno We Trust, which is Gat's team, sitting in 15th with 64 points. But we will report that Marco has made up ground. That's right. He's made up ground in the Gat versus Marco challenge for this season. He's cut down Gat's lead to a mere 40 points. A few weeks ago, it was just over 50, almost to 60. So that 86 pointer was huge for Igat Mesila's party, sitting in 22nd place. Looking at that team, Marco, you had a lot of players which came good for you, mostly getting those double digits from Vardy, Justin, Martinez, and Salah, your captain. So I know you definitely were smiling for that. Looking at who we're going to pick up for this week, guys, on the watch list, just going over some of the names that we're going to take off. If you still have them, and this was confirmed with Klopp, unfortunately, giving us the news that Diogo Jota is going to be out for about a month and a half, almost 2 months. So that price is going to drop inevitably. It did drop already, and it looks like it's going to do so further. He is going to be flagged, so that might lock in his price. If you have that transfer to get him out, though, if you have a wild card that you're planning to use, Jota is definitely a name that I would probably let go. Another one, though, which I did have in the beginning of the season, and I transferred him out earlier, is Timo Werner. Timo Werner just doesn't look like he's warranting investing $9 million for him for your front line, especially when there are other players like Vardy and Kane, just $1 million more, that are giving you consistent returns and double-digit hauls throughout the season. So Timo Werner is another name that I would pretty much drop from your watch list. The other, I guess, teams which, if you consider blacklisting, I guess, or making sure that you shy away from them, unless they're bench fodder, of course, anyone from teams like West Brom, like Sheffield, at this point, even from Arsenal, from a fantasy standpoint. In the beginning, Arsenal, I was saying that they had a good defensive run. And so assets like Bellerin, like Gabriel, who did score an odd goal or two, they were coming good. But I think the attacking returns is probably what's the biggest concern for a team like Arsenal. I wouldn't count out players like Aubameyang, though, because, again, like Marco was saying, if they do get back into the rhythm, Aubameyang, with a cheaper price, that looks like a pretty much set player for your team. Still, looking at who we might pick up for this next game week, I think it's important to see what the fixtures are. The reminder is that the deadline is tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning, tomorrow, Tuesday. So at time of recording, hopefully you'll get to hear this before then. If not, just keep an eye out for the rest of the game weeks for this month. We have them coming literally thick and fast. We have one this weekend, again on the 19th. Then for Boxing Day, we have game week 15. 2 days later is game week 16 on the 28th. So Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday, they're going to come thick and fast, these fixtures. So looking at your teams and setting them up for how they're going to perform for the next 3 or 4 game weeks is going to be vital to pick up a lot of points. Rotation might be something that you want to look out for, but of course, we're going to look at that moving forward. Guys, I'm going to pick on you one by one. Marco, with an 86 pointer, we'll start with you. Who are you looking at to maybe upgrade or drop for your team for this next game week 13 starting tomorrow?
I need to drop Jota. So as of right now, with his price at where he's at right now, me trying to drop him, I will have approximately, let's see here, he's at 6.8. With what I have in the bank, I have 9.3.
Wow.
Sadly, the only person I can pick up that has given good amount of returns is Zaha.
Mm-hmm.
Below that is Bowen, Mane. I can't pick up Mane actually. Neto, Clutch, Mahrez, Rashford, Rodriguez. So the list goes on. So I honestly I don't know who to drop for Jota.
That's actually a good question, because a lot of people are going to be looking for that Jota swap. And some of the names that have come up, if you don't have them, you do have them on your team. But a very easy swap would be Jota to Grealish. Aston Villa have pretty much some of the best fixtures coming up in the next 3 game weeks. Another name to look at if you want to try to downgrade and maybe spread those funds out over time so that you don't take a hit. Some of the players that we're looking at are sub 5 million. So one that really, like, I smiled as soon as he scored and I was like a little bit annoyed. But Thomas Souček from West Ham, getting his 3rd goal in 5 games, only 5 million. This is someone that will pretty much sit on your bench. You may be rewarded by playing him during the week, but just to have him on your team, if you want to downgrade Jota and have a little bit more money in the bank so you can pick up someone else, that one of the premiums. For you, Marco, in your case, I know you don't have either of KDB or Bruno. And for both of them moving forward, they're going to have some pretty good matches to pick up games against some of the bottom half teams. Erik, who are you looking at for your team as far as one player to either drop or cop?
So I'm actually with Marco on this. I had to get rid of. I was on Jota faithful in the beginning, but now that he's out, I dropped him, and I'm honestly gonna go with Zaha. I had him in the beginning. He did good for me early on, with a couple of strong games. Hopefully, his form does not decline in the coming weeks. He does have a pretty decent matchup, so.
Yeah, like we said, he does have a few difficult matches with Liverpool and Leicester in their next 4. But they do play Aston Villa and West Ham, which I do believe, as far as the presence of their fans go, even though those are away matches, they do play at home for their toughest fixtures against Liverpool and Leicester. So I would not be surprised to have Zaha put up a good performance. To make you feel a little bit better, though, because I know you were ruining Callum Wilson's blank because I also have him on my team. Keeping him, for anyone that does have him, for at least the next 2 game weeks, because they play Leeds and Fulham, I believe that's worth a gamble. I don't think it's worth taking a hit to get him out. I think just playing him and letting him go do his thing. He still has been involved. If I'm not mistaken, the percentage was somewhere around like high 90s. I think it was something ridiculous, about like 91% of all of Newcastle's goals this season. Callum Wilson has been involved, either scoring them or assisting them. I think they got a little bit unlucky as far as scoring so early in this last game. And I was telling Nico myself that that early goal kind of switched them as far as feeding Wilson those through balls. He did have a few chances. He didn't look too sharp. But again, if you do have Wilson, I would say stay away. Looking at it, of course, hindsight is always going to be 2020. If you don't have Wilson, I don't think he's worth picking up now, because he has hard matches right afterwards. He has very difficult ones after the next 2. So just looking at Callum Wilson, I would say just hold on to him. And your front line looks pretty decent. Bamford, again, people that have Bamford, they're definitely being rewarded for their patience with them. So Nico, you're the last one here that we're going to pick on, at least for a little bit of surgery for your team. Who are you looking at to either cop or drop from your starting 11?
Dude, I'm over here sweating right now because in 2 minutes price changes. So like I'm looking at Jota for Salah, and then dropping Kane to Ings, and then Robertson to Ruben Diaz. So that would be a -8. So I'm over here sweating right now because I don't know if to drop. I honestly have no idea. I don't know if you guys can see. Probably not. So
closer to the screen, you might be able to the camera.
Yeah, to the camera. Yeah. He's doing them as we speak. Listen, man, you have.
I don't know. I need help.
You have 1 minute.
Yes.
Okay. Diego. Okay, so Robertson to Diaz, right, and then Jota to Salah, and then Kane to Ings will leave me 0.7 in the bank.
Okay, do it. You gotta hit go, man. You gotta hit go.
Yo, Nick, all I know is that I'm above you in the table. You heard? This is
I did it. I just did it.
All right. Listen, man. As long as you have those players in before they rise, you should be set.
Damn it.
Nervous though.
All right. Well, I just did it right now, so
that's a -8 hit.
Yeah, you feel me right now?
Yes.
I know Diego feels on that.
Yes. I will. That's one thing I actually was going to segue into, so I appreciate that. I did take a -8 this week. I took a -8 and I still scored 62 points, which was above the average. Sometimes taking the risk, especially when you know that many other players are going to be missing, someone in your league, I did notice that as in our league specifically, or in your mini leagues, a lot of people did not have Salah. So, I gambled, and even though Salah did get a minimal return, his captaincy was able to cover the -8. So right now, especially with all these games coming in so quickly, I think this is probably the best time more than ever to be a little bit okay with taking a hit, even if it's a -8 or just a -4, because a lot of other players are going to be doing the same thing. There was quite a few people that used their wild cards very early in the season. I myself used it just a few game weeks ago. The percentage I would take a stab at guessing that still have their wild cards to use later on for the first half of the season, they already have an idea of when they're going to use it, and it's not going to be now. It's not worth it because, for one, we're looking at rotation. Two, a lot of people are going to be chasing those premium midfielders, so they're going to drop players and they're going to take hits. So if you look at it from that perspective, if everyone else is taking a hit around you, you taking a hit as well will keep that gap consistent as far as your mini league. So don't be afraid of taking that hit, especially if it lets you set up your team for the next game weeks that are, again, going to be very numerous in the following few weeks. So looking at it going forward, who we're going to captain, there are some very standout, I would say there are some standout choices for this week. We do have Liverpool and Tottenham playing each other, which I think is going to be hopefully a blockbuster game. I think it's going to be very set up for Klopp to chase the match and Mourinho being able to absorb that pressure and hit on the counter for a team that has been specializing in that. I hope it's going to be an exciting game. So Son, Salah, Kane, they could be some differentials, but again, I would shy away from those matches because, like we saw with United and City, those tough matches between the top six usually end up being blanks. Very seldom do you get a result as far as a big return. So looking at, on paper at least, or on the fixtures, which players are going to be looking good for captaincy, I have my pick right now. My suggestion for a pick right now would be on KDB or a Man City player. They play at home to West Brom, which is ripe for some returns there. Also, United play away to Sheffield. Sheffield being bottom of the league, they're conceding a lot of chances. Looking at how Southampton were able to dispatch them, I wouldn't put it past United to hopefully also do the same, with Bruno Fernandes finding the net or some assists for that match. A few differentials, which I will put up there. Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy hasn't been afraid of scoring against the top six or thereabouts. So that game against Everton, which we have seen Everton do not that great with their defensive duties, I think Leicester having Vardy in a much clinical form than most of the Chelsea forwards is going to be a big difference there. So that could be interesting. And as well as Arsenal Southampton. I think Southampton building on their momentum and trying to take it to a very wounded Arsenal side. It could mean a chance for players like Ings or James Ward-Prowse to get a return or two. So those are your captaincy picks for this upcoming game week. Guys, I wish you all the best of luck. We're going to keep moving forward with the BenchWarmers Fantasy League. We had mentioned this in last week's recording, but we're going to be closing new additions to the league after the second half of the season. So once we hit game week 19, the league will be closed to new entries, and that will make it fair to everyone who's been with us since the beginning, so we can have a nice, healthy competition who will get a special prize from us, the BenchWarmers, at the end of the season for the top spot. This was a combined episode, one of the first times that we do it. Again, this might be something that we could resort to doing because of the fixtures and the game weeks that are going to be piling on. But hopefully, if it works, let us know. If it doesn't, let us know. And anything that you do want to hear, make sure that you follow us, like we said, on our social media platforms and accounts on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching BenchWarmers FC1. That was a good run, guys. I appreciate all of you coming together and recording for today. Just a reminder for everyone before Marco falls asleep and puts his mask on his eyes again.
It is a sprint,
at the Emirates,
not a marathon.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
A
We're
sprint.
the BenchWarmers. This is the bench with the voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everybody.
Peace. Hey, Marco. I dropped Kane, picked up